Bringing to you our next panel discussion on technological challenges, solutions, innovations, and what are some of the newsroom challenges that we are facing today, and how is it that we can come about some fantastic solutions? How is it that we can bring about cutting-edge innovations? Telling us a lot more about this will be our next set of speakers, and as I welcome them on stage, Mr. Vivek Mishra, Chief Product and Technology Officer, India.com Private Limited. A round of applause as he joins us on stage. May I welcome Mr. Raktim Das, Chief Growth Officer, Broadcast and Digital, TV9 Network. Thank you so very much for your presence. Let's hear it up for Mr. Anil Mittal, Vice President, Technical and Broadcast Operations, Times Network. May I have the pleasure of welcoming our absolutely brilliant speaker right here, Mr. Anil Mehta, joining in, and the one moderating the segment will be Ms. Payal Mehta, partner at BCG. May I request all of you to please welcome Ms. Mehta with a round of applause as we look forward to 20 minutes of discussion time, after which we're going to kickstart with the award ceremony. All yours, ma'am.
All right, so we've been discussing some of the challenges facing Indian newsrooms even in the previous segments, where there's audiences moving to multiple screens. We talked about AI, we talked about automation within the newsroom. We also talked about navigating the chaos in the newsroom using technology. So that's something we would be actually delving deeper into in this segment. So let me actually start, Vivek, Anil, with you. Times Network actually has multiple outlets across different platforms where you render news. And that could be a TV channel, it could be a website or an app, it could be social media. What are some of the technological challenges that you are facing in rendering in these multi-screen settings and in multiple formats?
Hello. See, there are many challenges regarding this multi-platform and multi-formats. Because in traditional, we were using standard definition, that is aspect ratio is 4:3. And after that, high definition, that is 16:9. Now, there are multiple platforms where are so many aspect ratio. Suppose if we are using Twitter, social media, YouTube, many other, and those are different aspect ratio. So there is a NRCR system. We have so many challenges. How to incorporate these aspects ratio? How we'll proceed the news? Suppose if we are taking a video in 4:3, then at the same time we have to produce 16:9, 9:16, so many multiple platforms. So that we have to address how to produce news as immediately, and we can see how we can platform this news.
And are you also seeing the technological stack change across both the shooting of the feed as well as the delivery of the feed? Is it on both ends that the challenge exists?
Yes, both ends exist.
And what kind of technologies are helping you solve this on a real-time basis, especially when there are live news feeds that need to be rendered?
Yeah, there are multiple transcoders, there are multiple AI tools that can help. We can immediately. And immediately, there is one more thing. User has to train and they have to adapt the technology. Then we can exactly use same the technology, how we can deliver it.
Absolutely. Actually, that's well said, because change is 70% of the story and 30% is the tech.
Yeah.
My next question is for you, Raktim. I want to understand, how have you leveraged technology across the news production process, right from the sourcing of stories to the distribution? And at the same time, how do you actually manage consumer centricity at the core of this process?
So, if you look at the new emerging consumer dynamics, there are two things which comes to the forefront. One is essentially in terms of how the consumer is consuming news across multiple platforms. So it's essentially become a very, very platform agnostic kind of environment wherein the consumer is like an omnipresent consumer. So if you get into the FMCG scenario, there is this entire concept which is referred to as the omni-channel paradigm, wherein you have multiple touch points. A consumer can buy a product on the website, he can go to the physical store, he could probably check it out in the physical store and buy online. There are D2C consumer brands which are there in the ecosystem these days. Similarly, even in the news ecosystem, if you look at it, you could be accessing news on the linear television channel, you have the connected TV ecosystem these days. You have then the entire news stream being streamed across YouTube platforms. You have multiple sources wherein various aggregators are carrying the news. So you have two scenarios. One scenario wherein you need to address the needs of the consumer across multiple touch points. That's number one. Number two, within the newsroom, how do you adopt an agile ecosystem? Because agility is at the core of everything. Because two, three things which comes to the forefront is that speed to market. How do you give news first and foremost in terms of giving not only authentic news, but the news which is fact-checked? Because fact-check is something which is very core at the entire news gathering and news dissemination process. That's number one. Number two is that how do you offer a very, very unified user experience across multiple platforms? In the first point, I referred that the consumer is omnipresent, so he is accessing news and content across multiple platforms. How do you offer a very unified experience to the consumer across these multiple platforms? And the third and the most important thing is that how do you allow the consumer to transform the news consuming experience from one screen to another? So that's very critical because I may be traveling from office to home and I might be consuming something on the YouTube. The moment I reach my home, how do I transfer that experience into the large screen? So the television screen, if you look at it, is essentially become something wherein you are not only consuming content, but you are also probably doing commerce, right? So when you see an ad on a connected TV, you could probably click on your mobile and then even do commerce. So that's at the core of everything. How do you bring in efficiency and effectiveness in the newsroom by leveraging tools which enables you three things. One is speed to market. Second is in terms of user experience, managing that unified user experience across platforms. And the third thing is that how do you offer very, very trustworthy and credible news in terms of fact-checking, in terms of offering that news in various multiple formats. That's at the core of every newsroom dynamics at this point in time. How do you leverage technology to enable and empower all the creators which are there in the newsroom, and at the same time also enable that various streams which is enabling the newsroom, whether it is the wire services, whether it is the social media feed, whether even today the consumer is at the center of the content creation process. There was a time when it was like a manufacturer approach. A news broadcaster would create news and offer it to the consumer. Today, the consumer is also at the center of the news creation process. So how do you leverage all of that in an agile format which enables efficiency and effectiveness? That's at the core of the new newsroom.
And a follow-up question to that, how do you actually bake in both the human element and the technological element to be agile for the consumers on multiple platforms?
Mundane jobs will be done by the machine. Creative jobs will be done by humans. So that is the balance that one will need to draw.
Thank you for the insightful comments, Mr. Raktim. Vivek, I have the most popular question for you. We all know the hype cycle of technology, and we know that AI has actually gone beyond the peak of inflated expectations. We see many media houses now using AI across multiple use cases, such as content curation, personalization, figuring out the trending topics, right? And we see them using both creatively and with restraint as well. So in your experience, how has AI changed or will change the newsroom in the near future?
So Payal, you're right, and in previous session we also heard lots about AI and technology being used for content news production. So you're right, AI is already transforming news production. as demonstrated by our latest innovations, for example, we used AI for conducting exit polls. And that was faster, and not only faster, but more accurate than traditional exit polls methods. Yeah. And thanks to AI for its ability to analyze a large nationwide samples with most accurately without a field team. Yeah. Then we introduced Genia, an AI anchor capable of delivering results with human-like expressions and natural voice modulation to the users. So AI on different fronts aiding content generation. So if I talk about the other AI technologies being used in newsroom, now people are able to create faceless YouTube channels as well using these AI technologies. They don't need any voice artists. They don't need any image artists. They can simply use voiceover, AI voiceover tools, Midjourney like tools, and Sora is there, so they can use video tools also, and they can completely create videoless YouTube channels or other social media channels as well. While AI has immense potential, still ensuring editorial oversight is crucial. So our team of experienced editors and specialists work closely with these AI tools to ensure the output, a creative and accurate output, while ensuring editorial standards doesn't get compromised. So, future also, there will be lots of intervention from AI. And if I talk about latest developments in AI, it's completely shifting AI to a different tangent. So if I talk about latest updates, so Google, and if I talk about Alphabet, so Alphabet recently successfully conducted their quantum computing experiment. And now, if we club the AI model, existing AI models with that quantum computing power, then we'll see a completely different results. And our current GPT, chat GPT will look like a calculator to that capability. So AI is going to transform the complete consumption and the creation, both side of the this ecosystem. And but still, and it is necessary also to fight. So only tech can fight big tech. So that's why news organization has to adopt tech, but strategically they should use AI for their.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It has to be very measured as well at the
Right,
same time.
yeah.
Completely agree. I'm going to take one rapid fire with the three of you. If you were to describe the newsroom of the future in a couple of words, how would you describe it?
Newsroom of the future is the IP.
You'd call it IP?
Yeah, IP.
How about you, Raktim? How would you describe?
So just two words which will describe the newsroom of the future. One is in terms of agility. Newsrooms will need to be agile and second is speed to market. And how do you enable and empower that is to tech interventions.
Absolutely. And how about you, Vivek? How would you define newsroom of the future?
It could virtual, somewhere in metaverse also.
Lovely. Thank you to our panelists for letting us know about the wonders of technology in the newsroom. I certainly learned a lot. I hope all of you enjoyed the discussion as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Much. Ms. Mehta, I'd like to request you to please present each of our panelists here with a token of appreciation from our gifting partners in Tara. And I'd like to request the team to please send us the wonderful gifts right here. Let's hear a round of applause as we thank them. Some absolutely beautiful gift hampers, all thanks to our gifting partner, Nisara, being presented to our panelists. Thank you so very much for joining us. And I'd like to present one to you as well for moderating this session so beautifully. A little something